Eddie, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
You're very welcome, mate. So you've been a client of HMO, well, living rooms for quite a while now, yeah?
Quite a while. It's been just looking at some data the other day, and it's actually been since April 2019. So come up 6 years.
Wow.
Well, it's almost 6 years now. Yeah.
2019, we were just doing conversions at that time as well, weren't we? Not
Correct.
new builds.
Yeah. Yep.
And what was the property, or what was the project that we helped you with?
So it started out as my original PPR. We sort of moved on. We decided we lived down in, so the property was in Warnbro.
Yep.
Moved down there lived in for about 6 years. Then we decided to move back north. It's where we'd sort of come from. So for the wife's progress and a job. So we rented it back out as a normal house, normal rental as you do. And then through my own education and so forth, I found out a little bit more about HMOs and thought, well, this is a good opportunity to change the strategy and look at something different and see what we can come up with. So, and from there, it was a little bit daunting, I guess, to start with, because it was something different, right?
Yeah.
I said, like, you've got to do something different to move forward. So that was sort of part of the plan to tackle it and see how we go. So doing the conversion was not too bad a project. Mostly just a bit of a paint and tidy up and do the furniture. So most of that sort of stuff I did myself anyway.
Yeah.
But you guys did help out with the fire standards. So you got all the fire compliance and certificates and that all up to spec, which was good. And then before you know it, I was sort of handing it over to let J&G at the time sort of take over management of it, and it was good.
J&G now living rooms.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's now changed. So that's how things have developed and changed over the time, right?
Yeah, and you've seen it all, right? I mean, 2019, you would have been like probably in our top 10 or 15, or first 10 or 15 clients that we ever worked with, I reckon.
Correct. I remember you saying to me, Neil, you said, oh, look, Warnbro's sort of pushing your boundaries. You do want to go that far. But it was sort of right on the cusp there. I go, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah,
so
it worked well.
It did.
So pre-conversion, what was the property renting out for?
We're getting around $450 a week.
Cool.
Yep.
And then there's two stages of the conversions, isn't there? So firstly, we just put the furniture in, put the fire alarms up.
Correct.
And what did it rent out for then?
So that was around the $880.
Cool. Not bad.
So that was sort of because we only did the 4 rooms. The 4-to-1 bathroom was probably a little bit much, so we did the master ensuite, which we could have done as a couple. That was a big master room. Then we did the other 3 rooms and sort of kept one as a bit of a floater, so if we could fill it in between, because I felt a bit uncomfortable 4-to-1. So since then we've done an upgrade on the theatre room as well, so put an ensuite into that. So now that's allowed it to go from a 4x2 to a 5x3.
Yes.
Yeah, which has sort of allowed the extra income. So now I've got 3 bedrooms to 1 bathroom, which has made a big difference in jump. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
So what did the rent go from and to there? From 880 to?
Currently it's sitting around the $1250 a week.
Beautiful.
So it's been a couple of years now since the conversion with the theatre room to ensuite. So, but I think it's probably had a little bit of increase just naturally with the way the rental market is at the moment. But so I think it's probably around the 1100, I think, with the extra bathroom. So a couple hundred, 250 a week. So
beautiful,
which worked out well.
Yeah, bet it did. And what's the occupancy rate been like in the property since it's been converted?
I've not had any issues with occupants. We've had a couple of issues with occupants, so to speak. But as far as filling the rooms, no, it's been really good. I like the idea, and it's probably one of the things that my biggest selling points on it was the fact that you actually had, I guess, always people in the property, and you always had some form of rental income.
Yeah.
So probably one of my fears against starting with the property was it was something different, something I hadn't dabbled in before. So you always get a little bit nervous. You say, oh, it's almost too good to be true type deal. Is this right? Is it going to happen? But no, it's come out really well. So once you get past that, and now wish I'd done it sooner, so to speak.
And what about the calibre of people that live in the property? Because you got to meet the people that live there, didn't you? Because did you live locally at the time, or were you doing the maintenance?
Yeah, I did live locally, and was also still going around and mowing the lawns, and part of that was not so much to keep an eye on the property, because that's what I engaged you guys for to manage, but it was just at that point in time is I was local, it was just a little bit of cost saving to sort of go around and just look after the lawns, and sort of give me access to the shed as well. So because I some stuff stored in there, so that was another bonus.
And who was living in the property? Did you get to meet the people and like connect with them?
Yeah, and that was quite good. It's a little bit sort of strange. The first time you said, "Oh, look, I was just sort of the maintenance guy as to to what I was coming around doing, and I felt a little bit awkward with that. And then I sort of said, no. So look, I am the property owner. I said, you will see me floating around. I'm quite happy to come around. I just mow the lawns and keep an eye on the place. If from any maintenance issues, you get any dramas, give us a call. If not, let yourselves, J and G, know at the time, and now living rooms, and they'll just sort it from there. So, but it was good to meet the people. You got to know them quite well as well, and you sort of, yep, g'day Eddie, how you going? And I felt that relationship was a lot more open once they knew who I was, and coming around to the property as well, and made life a little bit free-flowing, I guess, for people understanding.
Yeah, great. And the people that you met that lived there, and what you perceived the people to be that were going to live there, was it different or was it the same?
I guess we've had a bit of a range, you know. We've had chefs to teachers to musicians, so we've had a big range of people in there, and I do think the biggest challenge is getting people with all that sort of range of aspects of work life and what they do as personalities, I guess, is a challenging part for co-living to try and manage. So I'd be quite happy to sort of hand that one over, because that's a challenge, and that you come around, you meet different people, and I do quite often think about the dynamics of the different houses and things that you've got to deal with. So most have been pretty good. And
you mentioned earlier there's been a few issues in the property with the tenants. Like, what were they and how did they get resolved?
Most of that was just sort of around more activities that were going on inside the property. There's a little bit of conflict between two people in the rooms. We end up sort of just highlighting it through co-living and so forth, and getting them to deal with it. As I said, it's not my deal. It's what you're engaged for. So they were addressed, and one was sort of moved on, and then not long after that, the other one sort of followed. There's a little bit of hooking up together and then fighting going on. That was causing distress between the other tenants, and that sort of wasn't the atmosphere I wanted to create within the house. So it's good to have the support for people to come in and say, look, this is how we need to address it, and this is what we're going to do. So
perfect.
Worked out well in the end.
Perfect. So what would you say to people that are sitting on the fence about investing in a HMO? Maybe they don't understand the tenants, or they think it's too good to be true, like you said earlier. Yeah. What would you say to them people?
I'd certainly look into it. You certainly got to, but I'd say dive into it now. As I said just before, I wish I'd done it earlier, or even had another one, started on developing another one. Things didn't quite work out that way for myself, but I'm still got it in the future to look ahead at another HMO, because I think the strategy works quite well.
Beautiful.
As I said, the income is always sort of there. The property management, I think, is also the key. I've also seen HMO develop over the years as well. I said, been here as a client for quite some time. It's always been great to have the interaction, come back as well, ask for improvements, what can you do? And I've certainly seen the business sort of flourish from that aspect, and credit to yourself, Neil, and Joe as well, for what you have done.
Thank you.
Because I think it's been great adventure. And I'd like to continue with another one if I can.
Still only getting there. Still only at the beginning, mate, really, isn't it? With interest rates where they're at now, Eddie, how has that impacted the cash flow on the property? Were you negative cash flow at any stage with these high interest rates, or are you still positive?
No, still positive. I was probably started a little bit neutral because of that 4-room housing scenario, but once that sort of got the 5th room up and going, it's always been sort of positive. So it's made a difference. I've got it set up in a trust structure as well now. So it sort of tries to keep my own income at a neutral level, and I've got property value there in the property where I can pull on that to maintain, so use to maintain the house. So it's good to know that my investment's been maintained appropriately from the income that comes from the tenants, and then I've just sort of got a neutral balance for myself. So the way you set up your structure and to suit the strategy in HMO is very important as well.
Definitely. And lastly, what is the current interest rate on the property now, and where's the cash flow sitting per annum?
Sitting around 6.2 at the moment. And probably still around the 8 to 8.5, I think it is at the moment, in the last of the results. So it's still well.
So if we get interest rates back down at about 4%, we should be seeing 20 grand, 25 grand a year cash flow?
Yep, definitely. I'm looking forward to that. The sooner I can pay it off. Part of the strategy was obviously for my retirement plan. So once you get this one set up, the quicker I can sort of pay this down, the more income I've just got coming in through my retirement. So positive income, and so I say another one would be good, and I'd like to say I'll be set, but we'll see how we go. Certainly on the right track.
And lastly, I did say the last one was the last one, but this is the last one. How does it feel knowing that your investment is helping bring affordable housing to the market?
It's actually an interesting question, that, Neil, and I think it's good to be able to help multiple people. It's great to be able to think that you're helping a family, but knowing you're helping multiple people inside one house because of the rental crisis and everything that we're in at the moment as well, as well as also benefiting from my own financial gain as well was always a positive, which is sort of why we do it. But knowing you've got the potential to help 5 different people that could be out on the streets or struggling to find rentals in a single room, I certainly think it's a good thing, good feeling. And well, that comes back to how I try to set up the house in the sense that it's still pretty open. So I've got the lounge room, shared kitchen, and maintain that sort of gathering of people, you know. So it's good when you go over there and you see them sitting around, or you hear them talking to each other and sitting on the couch and having that sort of catch up and whatever else. I think it's a bit of a good feeling. You create that environment for people.
Community feel.
Correct, yeah.
Beautiful.
Very much so.
Is there anything I haven't asked you already that I should have asked you today?
No, I think you pretty well covered it.
Beautiful.
I think it was it's been a good journey having co-living alongside and managing a property. As I said, for my benefits moving forward and financial gains, helping others, it's been a good journey.
Beautiful. Eddie, thank you very much.
Not a problem. Thank you very much for your time, Neil.
Thank you.